Hi everyone, this is an update. This would be the second update on the tomatoes that we planted here in the front garden of the lupus garden. And as you can see, there's a lot of growth. The tomato that we have here in the back is the black Krim. I remembered. This one is the rose tomato, the one in the front, and it's huge. You can see, wow. And that's almost all the way to my neck. I am 5'4" tall, so that's really tall. I mean, how old are these? Like, we planted them a month and a week ago. Yeah. So you can see the previous video. You can see what we used. The supposedly brush is here. It's huge too. As you can see, the stems are really thick, so I suppose that means they would grow taller. We still don't know for sure what it is, but it's blooming, so we'll soon find out. Anyways, great companion plant. We noticed that the evil white butterflies that would lay eggs and then therefore the babies would eat all the plant are gone. I suppose we think it's because of that, right?
Yeah, also there was a hornworm butterfly that came over here that kind of looked like hummingbirds, and all it did was get the water and leave, and it's been about 2 weeks, and so far no worms, so it looks like growing barrage with your tomatoes does seem to, at least now, we don't know about later, but as of now, it does fool the hornworm, which is a really big problem with tomatoes and peppers.
And what you see right now here are the A55s. I'm showing here more tomatoes from our A55. It's been a month and a week from when we planted it. This is a rose tomato, as you've noticed from our previous videos. And well, it says on there somewhere. This has little flowers, and I've just been told that because this is a hybrid, not a hybrid, no.
Heirloom.
I'm getting confused, sorry guys. This is an heirloom, starts with H.
Yeah.
So because this is an heirloom, we could have a little bit of a problems with having the amount of tomatoes that we want. So I was just suggested by wonderful husband that when I get to see the flowers, I should use the electrical toothbrush. What for? Some of you guys might think or wonder. Well, there's some bugs that help through the pollinating process, and not only because they get into the flower and get whatever they want and go to other flowers and so forth. What happens, and I've heard of this before, is that the sound that these bugs make somehow stimulates the flower and the process of pollination. I'm not a scientist, I don't know this for a fact, but I heard of this and it's worked before. So I'm gonna have to try this with the rose tomato, just to make sure that we get enough tomatoes, if that's part of the stimulating that it needs. If it works or not, who cares? Better do it and see results than not do it and then be wondering if that was the reason and not get anything until next year. So this could be a suggestion for you guys. I'm sure someone has a video explaining this better, but I'm just letting you know what's the idea here before I forget, because I forget things sometimes. And that's it. This is the other side of our tomatoes. This is the black Krim, as I was showing you. Sorry if it's brighter. It's like 11 something in the morning. So as you can see, the sun gets really intense here in Escondido, California. And that's why we want as many leaves in our tomatoes to promote that shade as much as possible, though, so our tomatoes don't burn, because that tends to happen. And even if we're planning to put a shaded cloth on it, you still don't want the plant to depend on it, or the most as possible. So shade from the leaves would be a natural way for it to protect itself. And I would assume that's all I had to add. Ooh, something has been trying to eat here, but hopefully the brush changed that. see all those. Hey, that's the black Krim's flowers. Woohoo, that's good. I need to flicker them. So I'm getting here in another angle. You can see how tall these plants are. That's the barrage in the front. So the one we're planting in the side. And this is the Ace55 is a little bit taller than me. So that's 5'4" again. And this has only been a month and a week since we planted it. And look at those stems. They're very, very thick. And already have some flowers here. Some flowers over here, and hopefully we'll have a crop soon. So, but I've noticed you said, husband, that you put some fertilizer, and that's why you're watering right now. So how often, aside of what we did to plant them, do you have to put fertilizer?
With mine, I do it about every month and a half, every 2 months. We have a long growing season here, so we could do that, but in areas that are only like 2-4 months or whatever, I mean, then that means you only have to fertilize like once or twice a year. But I don't use a lot of fertilizer. I have my own mix that I make, and I usually this is the first planting I didn't use my own mix because it's kind of expensive, and I just wanted to give the plants a jump start. So the mix that I make, I usually only use like 1/4 cup for each plant, and I give it to them every a month and a half, every 2 months. And then also they get worm tea pretty much almost every week, at the very least every other week.
Ah, so that's something we make different from maybe other people, is that we use the worm tea that comes from our worms castings, and this is every
week. And then we
week,
also
right?
use the Malibu compost also.
Yeah, so thank you Malibu Compost for introducing us to your great products as well.
Yeah, I want to thank Lauren. She was the agent, and give her props. She was the one that introduced me. I went to her talk about Malibu biodynamic compost, and she's the one that actually gave me a free sample, and then ever since then I've started using it because I think it's a really good product. It's really high in fungal counts. Those who actually brew their own tea do notice that it is kind of hard to get high fungal contents, but this compost does have high fungal, and so it's a good way to get that extra kick in your soil.
Yeah, I noticed that the black Krim is also doing great. I wasn't really expecting that plant to have a very thick stem, but it does. And this one was our biggest worry, the Rutgars, because 2 of them, as you remember, we planted like 3 and only 1 made it, and sometimes that happens, but it doesn't matter. This one survived and it's doing good. It was kind of like small and weak, it wasn't growing, but now it is. So we're waiting a little bit more so we can put another tie to the stake, but it's doing fantastic. So hopefully all our tomatoes are going to be doing really good. And anything else you want to add?
No, that's it. There is going to be a new experiment I'm going to try, and I'm going to mix a little bit of fish and
Fish what? Emulsion?
Fish emulsion, some blackstrap molasses, and some what's it called? Seaweed extract, kelp extract.
This is it. So
and
huge.
That was something that was suggested by Smiling Gardener, who is another YouTube guy. I want to go ahead and thank him. I've been watching his videos, and I was pretty impressed with his soil that he dug up recently in his last video, and I decided, well, that's what he uses, so I'm going to go ahead and use that and see how our plants do.
So thank you to every YouTuber that share your videos, because some of us appreciate, and we're starting to make videos of our own. I mean, some of them are our methods, some of them are mixed with methods of other people. At the end, what you want is to see what works for you. Every soil is different, every environmental area is different, you know. Here it gets so dry, look at our roses. Those were a week, very nice, very pretty, and then just dried. these are growing. That was great. These are gone. But that's what I mean. I mean, you have to take tips from everyone, see what works for you, and then you stick to that and make some changes if it's for the best. But don't blame it on, I want to make a little note on another video. I'll put the link. And this is for growingyourgreens.com. So thank you for watching this update. We'll keep you posted with whatever happens with our tomatoes.